In the early long periods of the Second Great War, December 1941, the Moroccan seaside city of Casablanca draws in individuals from everywhere the world, especially Nazi-involved Europe. Many are drifters attempting to escape Europe, a couple are simply attempting to make a buck. The greater part of them, card sharks and evacuees, Nazis, opposition contenders, and regular evildoers, track down their method for Ricking's Bistro Américain, a stylish club claimed by American exile Rick Blaine, Humphrey Bogart. However, we learn later that Rick once held onto sufficient vision to seriously endanger himself to battle extremism. He's presently upset and skeptical, purporting to be unbiased and separated. I stand up for no one. Ugarte, Peter Lorre, comes to Rick's with letters of travel he acquired by killing 2 German dispatches. The papers permit the conveyor to travel unreservedly around German-controlled Europe, including to impartial Lisbon, Portugal. From Lisbon, it's somewhat simple to get to the US. They are practically extremely valuable to any of the outcasts abandoned in Casablanca. Ugarte plans to make his fortune by offering them to the most elevated bidder, who is expected to show up at the club sometime thereafter. In any case, before the trade can happen, Ugarte is captured by the police under the order of Chief Louis Renault, Claude Downpours. A bad Vichy official, Renault obliges the Nazis. Obscure to Renault and the Nazis, Ugarte had left the letters with Rick for care, in light of the fact that, somehow, in light of the fact that you disdain me, you're the only one I trust. Through Renault, Rick is acquainted with the little organization of Nazi officials who direct Casablanca. Among them is Major Strasser, Conrad Veit, whom has come to Casablanca for a review of his staff and who puts forth no attempt to conceal his doubt of Rick. Strasser ventures to such an extreme as to inquire as to whether he can envision the German conflict exertion arriving at the shores of the US, even New York City. Rick seriously cautions him that there are sure segments of New York, Major, that I wouldn't encourage you to attempt to attack. Before long, the justification for Rick's harshness re-enters his life. Ilsa learned, Ingrid Bergman, shows up with her better half Victor Laszlo, Paul Henreid, to buy the letters. Laszlo is an eminent Czech opposition pioneer who has gotten away from a Nazi inhumane imprisonment. The letters are their best way to run away to America to proceed with his work. At the time Ilsa initially met and became hopelessly enamored with Rick in Paris, she accepted her better half had been killed. At the point when she found that he was as yet alive, she left Rick suddenly without clarification and got back to Laszlo, leaving Rick feeling sold out. After the club closes, Ilsa gets back to attempt to make sense of, however Rick is tipsy and harshly will not tune in. At various times Rick and Ilsa torture themselves by asking the club's piano player, Sam, Dooley Wilson, to play As Time Passes By, a melody they cherished when they were together in Paris. The well-known line "Play It Once More, Sam," which alludes to this melody, doesn't really show up in the film. Ilsa says "Play it, Sam," and later, Rick orders "Play it," while Sam plays the tune. Rick thinks back about his issue with Ilsa in Paris. However, she appears to be content to be with Rick. Her mindset close to the furthest limit of their time together is wary in light of the fact that she has taken in her significant other may not be dead. At the point when the Nazis start to surround Paris, she gets word that Victor is without a doubt alive in one more piece of Europe. She and Rick had been intending to take a train to southern France to get away from the German armed forces attack. Notwithstanding, on the stage Rick gets a transcribed letter from her. She composes that she can't make sense of why she's leaving him, however she adores him. Rick and Sam leave without her. The following evening, Laszlo, thinking that Rick has the letters, talks with him secretly about getting them. They're intruded on when a gathering of Nazi officials, drove by Major Strasser, secure Sam's piano and start to sing Bite the Dust Wacht am Rhein, The Watch on the Rhine, a German enthusiastic tune. Goaded, Laszlo orders the house band to play La Marseillaise out of appreciation for involved France. The band chief seeks Rick for direction, he gestures. Laszlo begins singing, alone from the start, then lengthy stifled devoted enthusiasm holds the group and everybody participates, muffling the Germans. In counter, Strasser orders Renault to close the club. Sometime thereafter, Ilsa defies Rick in the abandoned bistro. He will not give her the records, in any event, when undermined with a firearm. She can't shoot, admitting that she actually cherishes him. Rick chooses to assist Laszlo, persuading her to think that she would willing stay behind when Laszlo leaves. Laszlo is imprisoned on a minor charge. Rick persuades Renault to deliver Laszlo, promising to set him up for a considerably more serious wrongdoing, ownership of the letters of travel. Nonetheless, Rick deceives Renault, compelling him at gunpoint to aid the break. Without a second to spare, Rick causes Ilsa to get on the plane to Lisbon with her significant other, telling her that she would think twice about it assuming she remained, perhaps not today. Perhaps not tomorrow, but rather soon and until the end of your life. Major Strasser drives up, warned by Renault, yet Rick shoots him when he attempts to intercede. At the point when his men show up, Renault illuminates them that Strasser is dead and covers for Rick by strongly requesting them to gather together the typical suspects. He then, at that point, suggests that the two of them leave Casablanca. Renault, proposing they join the obstruction, strolls into the mist with Rick, who says, "Louis, I think this is the start of a lovely friendship."